Most roofers I know don't have a repair department, not because they don't want one, but because they've never had a clean way to price the work. Their process usually goes something like this. Customer calls about a leak. Roofer texts pictures to a sub. Sub guesses at a number. Roofer adds markup, sends a quote, and hopes it all works. Half the time, the sub passively resists or even goes to job altogether because they don't want to actually do the repair job. The roofer stops quoting repairs, and the repair leads go to someone else. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the framework that I use to set up the repair labor rates for the subcontractors so you can scale a repair department with pricing that you can count on. I know about this because most of our members start out this way. A couple of my clients used to refuse repair calls altogether and thought that repairs were more trouble than they were worth. After a little badgering by me, they started using this approach. And what they found out is that repairs aren't just profitable, but they're a feeder for replacements. And I see this commonly result in hundreds of thousands of dollars in work that they were just walking away from before. And I get it. If you don't have a process, repairs are a giant pain in the ass. For most roofers attempting to sell repairs, every job is like a fresh negotiation. Every quote is a fresh guess. Now, that's not pricing, that's gambling, right? And it's definitely not scalable. Real repair pricing comes from a consistent model. The sub knows what they're getting paid. You know what you're paying. You know what your profit's going to be, and the customer knows what to expect. Best of all, you can quote on the spot with confidence. But the main obstacle in all of that is getting the repair pricing built from the labor from the sub. See, they don't know how to figure that out, and they don't see the value in doing it, so you stay stuck. That is why we build it for them. And when you do, your sub stops being resistant to repairs because suddenly the work is all structured for them. They just need to follow the sheet. Quick mention before I dig in. If you want the template that I built that bakes this whole framework in, the link's in the description. And I'm going to come back to that later. All right. I call this the RoofCoach Repair Pay Stack. It's just 3 steps, and once you understand them, you can price most repair scenarios. All right, so step 1 is the hourly cost basis that needs to be established, and that is composed of 2 pieces, the wage and the margin. The wage is what your sub's worker earns per hour on average, or their workers earn per hour on average, whoever they be sending to the job. If you don't know this, then you need to ask them and help them work that out. It's not too difficult. Margin is what sub gets on top of that. That's the profit on top of the wage, which is profit divided by price, not divided by cost. In other videos, I break down why we always want to use margin and not markup. I don't have time for the full breakdown here. I'll put a link in the description for you, okay? Now, you're going to need to find out or help the sub figure out what they want their margin to be that's going to cover their overhead and their profit target. If that number was 25%, let's say, then the multiplier on the average hourly would be 1.33. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, so this is some easy math, but I'll just do it really quick just to give you an idea how you would work through this. Maybe you're going to help them work through it. And let's just say that their average employee hourly wage is $22 an hour. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter what it is, but you start with what the average is. And they want a 25% margin, which is a 1.33% multiplier. We have a tool that can help you with this if you get confused by that. So we're going to multiply times 1.33, which comes out to $29.26 an hour. And that's the number you're going to build your costing from that I'm going to show you in a moment. Okay, so that's step 1. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, step 2 is where most roofers get stuck, and that is time per task. And to build a real rate sheet, you've got to take your most common repair tasks and figure out how long each one takes to crew. If you got to replace a bundle of shingles or replace a valley, flash a chimney, replace a plumbing boot, skylight install. There's 30 to 50 common tasks that are going to show up in repair work on a regular basis. And every one of them needs an estimated time. So from there, it's really kind of simple math. Once you have the time per task, then you have a scalable system because you can just take the time and multiply it times the average hourly rate from the base labor. So, for example, let's say that we're replacing a bundle of shingles and that takes about, 1.75 hours for off and on for a bundle of shingles on a walkable. We're going to multiply that times that, whatever the 20, I'm going to say $29 because I don't remember exactly the cents. 1.75 times 29. Now we know that the labor for that is going to be $50.75. but we also know that it's going to be about 1.75 hours of time. We'll get back to that later. But from right there, now you know what your labor burden is for that task. Now, once you've done that math for every common repair item, you've got a rate sheet that you can literally hand to your sub, right? They don't need to do any work. But this is the part that most roofers never finish because it's not hard. It's just tedious. I mean, you could sit down with a coffee on a Saturday and work through your entire list. Okay, so step 3 is choosing how you charge. And you have 2 options. One is per task, and the other one is by the day. And per task is what we just walked through, right? Each repair item gets its own published rate. You add them up for a quote and that's it. By the day is for jobs that don't itemize cleanly. So for that, we have 3 buckets that we go through. Okay, so let's go through what the 3 buckets are here real quick, okay? So first we have show up, and that's our minimum. Then we've got half day and full day. So the show up with minimum covers up to 2 hours of repair work plus the mobilization. Half day covers 4 hours plus mobilization, and full day covers 8 hours plus mobilization. Mobilization is drive time plus setup time, and it's the cost of getting your sub to the job and ready to work. And that's going to get bundled into the day rate bucket so the customer never pays for travel twice. 3 buckets, 3 clean answers. Sub knows what's included, and you can quote consistently and rapidly. Okay, so all of that kind of is included in your standard rates for walkable. For steep, you might add a multiplier. I kind of default to adding 25% or 1.25 for steep work. So that would mean walkable rate times 1.25 is going to give you the steep rate. Okay, so that's the RoofCoach Repair Labor Pay Stack. Hourly cost basis, time per task, pricing style, plus a steep adjustment. And this is all something you can absolutely do yourself. The math is super simple, but the work isn't building out that time per task list, right? Most guys I know, they might be able to take a Saturday afternoon and then they've got something usable. But if you want a head start, I built a free template that's got the framework wired in and the time per task list already started for you, which is 40 common repair tasks with starting times that you can adjust for your crew. It compiles all of your work into a clean pricing sheet that you can give to your sub. Links in the description. Plus, it's got a short training on how to deploy it. A couple of our clients have already deployed this out in the field. These are people who used to turn down repair calls, but they plugged in their numbers, they got their sub on board, and the subs had never seen a structured repair sheet like this. They walked through it together. By the end of the meeting, the subs, they were excited about booking repairs. The company started selling repairs and popping replacements as well. And guys, this is one of the key things that I learned in my business that helped us grow during the '08 recession while everyone else was falling apart. See, repairs, they're not a side business. They are a feeder for replacements. All right, so that is the RoofCoach Repair Labor Pay Stack. Hourly cost basis, time per task, pricing style, steep adjustment. And if you want that template that I mentioned, the link's in the description. It's a free download, plus there's a short training on how to deploy it. And if you like more content like this, please support the channel with a like and subscribe. It helps us a lot.